Beware of what you ask for. When I first come into office, there were several groups around that were looking for housing tax credits. One in particular was a veterans group was out looking and talking, looking for a sponsor. We had several others, elderly housing, workforce housing, substance abuse housing, chronic homelessness prevention, and most recently we have a growing number of young adults from the ages of 18 to 21 that's aging out of foster care. And looking at this, I just told them, I said, there's no way you're going to get 5 or 6 bills passed to do with housing and tax credits. And I told them, I said, but the only way I'd consider it is if you would do a comprehensive bill that included all these different entities and that would benefit the state as a whole. Well, I think that's what this bill does. We have been working on it for 3 years now. But with that, as many as you know, I've worked with the issue, and I have a group of advocates here that's joined me today that have come together to create the Commonwealth Alliance for Housing Solutions. The group represents individuals and companies, many names all of us know. They've come together because they, like myself, have come to see firsthand the dire need we have for housing solutions throughout our Commonwealth. Before the pandemic, our state, according to standards, was about 75,000 housing units short of what the need was. Now with the financial catastrophe that the pandemic's incurred, we've got skyrocketing construction costs and housing costs. The situation has reached a level of urgency that we've never seen before. I'm a real estate broker. I can tell you right now our inventory's never been lower. We've got people out knocking on doors asking if other people will sell their house. So, I'm sure as you consider this legislation, your main concern will be to ensure that it's financially responsible for our state. And because of that, in 2020, Danny Court, he's a principal and senior economist for Elliott D. Pollock and Company. He presented a study to confirm that if we were able to add, say, 6,500 units, housing units, that would generate an estimated $178 million in tax revenues for both state and local governments, and it would also create approximately 3,500 jobs during the period this was taking place. There are states already implementing this. One of our near states is Georgia. To reinforce the positive economic impact there, they have a similar tax credit options. And just for example, in 2016, they added 1,200 new units that generated $150 million in local income, $40 million in tax revenue for the government, and it created over 2,000 jobs. So that's just one example of what a tax credit, housing tax credit, could generate. There are 20 states that have passed similar legislation. There are 9 others considering it besides this bill here in Kentucky. Both Indiana and Ohio are considering it. Tennessee hasn't got there yet, and they are what I feel like to be our major competitors. And I'd like to see us get ahead of the game for once in the competing states. This bill, just to give you an idea, we're looking at probably about $12.5 million. But there are federal funds that are available that we would hope will be matching that, so we'll be looking at influxing $25 million. It is for 5 years with a sunset clause, so that we will be forced, in which I hope it and I expect it to be a positive impact on our state, we would still have to come back in 5 years and reapprove it, reassess it, and everything. So it's not an ongoing thing.